Hello. So today is the 22nd of June. It's actually quite cold here today, even though it's middle of summer. And I wanted to share a personal story with you. Not sure why, to be honest. It's kind of just, it feels like it's the most true to myself and what's going on with me now. So I have maybe some updates to give you, but it's more just kind of sharing with you like I would with a friend kind of situation. So anywho, my husband here is just outside, so there may be some sounds, I don't know. So a few days ago, maybe last week, I think, I was alone and really struggling just with some emotions that I didn't know what. It was just coming from a very deep place, and it was like a deep melancholy. And I'm just looking at Chippy. I had to bury a Chippy yesterday because my cat, Evil, I'll show you what he looks like. This is Abel. He's amazing. I love him so much, but he's a cat and likes to chase chipmunks. So that's the only unfortunate side of nature, is that things can be maybe have less empathy for in certain ways, but I think it's because everything goes back to source. So it's a bit different than the human concept of life and death, which is just that there's nothing. But actually that's what I want to talk to you about, because I had some information given to me on this day when I was really struggling. And oh, by the way, this is all of my artwork. This is my latest piece. This is a Tree of Life. I'm just going to put it here. This is the Golden Lion. I have quite a few of these for sale at the moment. So if you would like a custom piece, or I would show you the rest, but you can check it out on my Instagram. If you would like a custom piece of art, I would be very happy to provide you with that. So just let me know. So getting back to my story. And so on this day I went to bed actually in the middle of the day. I just laid down, and I've not really been doing much meditation for a while. So I just kind of laid there, just flat out on my bed. I called in the light to surround me and to fill me, and when I did that I felt like I had to call on one of my spirit guides, and I don't know if spirit guide is really the right term for it, or guardian angel, or I'm not sure what the right term for it would be. Anyway, I haven't called on her in a long time, because I went through a period of time of not believing in anything like that, just kind of feeling like maybe it's all in my head, that kind of thing. And it kind of is, but it definitely doesn't make it any less real. The experience is still very real. So either way, I called on her, and she came, and she actually, because I was, kind of in need of some care, of some support. And when she came, she made eye contact with me right over my face. So this is an ethereal light being that I see. I don't see her with my eyes. I kind of visualize with my inner eye. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Kind of see that in my inner space, in my inner eye. And so she was kind of over top of me, floating above me, and she kind of did this motion over me, which was like just a floating of her hands like this over my entire body. And I recently set up the table in this cabin, as you'll see in my previous video. I'll link it in the corner here. And she showed me that this energy kind of healing is something that I do really well with in receiving and giving to others. And so that set up a whole trajectory of thought for me. Just that one instance of her doing that was I just took a deep breath and felt connected again to love and to creativity. And I started thinking about me holding sessions for people in person, and how cool that would be. And so it kind of really sent a jolt of energy through my whole entire body. I also received some other information that I don't know if it's true. I kind of want to tell you, but I don't, because I know it's more for me than it is for you. But I'm going to say it just for those of you that I know may really be struggling right now and might need to hear this. Many of you this isn't for. I'm assuming, because this isn't the kind of conversation I'd have with someone, like really at all. So I'm sharing this because it's easy for me to be myself when it's just me and you. So I would say that after this revelation, I got a lot of downloads, and I'll get to that toward the end, because I wanted to tell you about something that was really cool and that happened along with this. And so anyway, I received that information, and then she went on to tell me that in a way this life of mine, this life that I'm living, really is a type of YOLO. You remember when we were kids and people would, I don't know if you are the same age, but you've probably heard the term YOLO, you only live once. And a few years ago, for probably the last decade, I've heard about reincarnation, and I've looked into reincarnation, and it definitely gave me some solace, because when I was about 7 years old, I had like a full-blown panic attack just in thinking about the fact that one day I'm gonna die and everyone's gonna die and it's just gonna be the end. And there's so much to unpack even just within that statement, and I'm not claiming it as true or false. I'm just saying I had an experience when I was very young of seeing universes explode, and I remember I was with my dad, his girlfriend at the time, and her daughter, and we were all just watching TV, and I had to stand up and just go to bed. Because I just felt so overwhelmed with fear, and I went to bed that night just kind of really empty feeling. So that was my first experience, memory of thinking about death. Anyway, I obviously didn't find out about reincarnation until a good 10 years later, or maybe a bit sooner, but I didn't, you know, and then when I found out about reincarnation, it felt like a relief. It felt like, oh, this is great, this is wonderful. I'm so happy that we get to come back here and we get to do this again in different souls and different bodies, and so it's kind of the belief that I've held for a while. I don't know if it's true. I like the idea of it, and obviously I know a lot of religions talk about it, and it seems legit. And anyway, when I was laid on the bed and I was with my spirit guide, she told me that you only live once, to me specifically. But what she meant, because she showed me that, and again, this could be wrong, okay, it could be right. I had a good feeling about it. She told me that this is, and I feel this isn't to brag or to do anything like that. This is to tell you my experience, and to say, not to say whether it's right or wrong, just to tell you my experience. She told me that this is my last round. That if I can get through this life, if I can do what I came here to do, this is my last incarnation. And that gave me so much relief. So to go from being a child to worrying about death, to then years later learning about reincarnation and to feel relief, and to now almost 27, you know, again go back to a feeling of this is my one and only life. I have to live here as a human in this moment. And it may be that reincarnation doesn't necessarily exist in the linear way that we think of it. It's more of a parallel life that we're all living here right now. So there really is only one life, or there's so many possibilities. And I don't claim any one particular as something that I believe. I just resonate toward whatever comes up in the moment. And when she said that this is my last round, you know, a few things popped into my head, like what's gonna happen next. And she showed me, because she used to be incarnated on Earth as well, and she showed me that, because I kind of had some questions here now. I was like, okay, what about my children? Because I want to have children. And if I don't incarnate again after this life, I want to know that they're going to be okay. Because if they happen to, you know, continue on for hundreds of years in different bodies, because really the idea of reincarnation is that you be born in a physical body once, and then your next life is just a new embodiment. Until you get off the wheel of karma, or the cycle of reincarnation, which again, I don't know. I've got no idea. This could all be hullabaloo. It could be stories. But there seems to be some legitimacy to it, because I've not really resonated with anything else. And so she told me that I would go on to do what she's doing for me, which is that she's on a different dimension and she's helping me from that dimension. Makes me a bit emotional. And I would go on to do that for whoever you know, it might not just be my daughter, it might be other people as well. I'd be like a type of guardian angel or a type of light being, and it sounds all fantastical, and I know it just seems so far removed from our everyday life, you know, paying the mortgage, paying for the car, going to work, you know, all that stuff that goes on in the real world. What I'm talking to you about here is a spiritual world, and it very much exists alongside with the physical world, and is just as important, in my opinion, if not the most important for me, because I've tried to move away from spirituality, and it's like my life force. So the reason I'm telling you all this story is because when I was led there and I was having this conversation about all this stuff, a bird on the roof. Oh, squirrel, I think. I felt some relief. I felt a lot of relief, so much so that I was able to get up again, and I was able to start cleaning the house and doing stuff that previously I was just gonna go to sleep and pretend like, and a nap probably would have done me just fine, but like I say, I was really struggling to motivate myself to do anything on this day, and go into what I class as that Akashic space. I was able to breathe life into myself again and do everyday mundane tasks again. So that's what's really interesting about this spiritual exploration. It very much feeds the physical, for me anyway. And without it, it's like I can't function in the physical. Nothing makes sense to me. Everything feels so dense and restricted. And, you know, I know that it's not necessarily the experience that most people have. Most people just get on with things the way they are. They just do the stuff that they know best about, which is what they can see, which is what societal norms are governed by, you know. They just get on with any social pressures they need to get on with. But for me, those things really stump me and really make me go deeper. And the reason for this spiritual practice, in any way, shape or form that you decide to discover it or explore it for yourself, is so that you can become more embodied in the physical. Because the thing that I took from all of this information that I got from my spirit guide, that I'm still not really holding on to very tightly, because I know how easily information is meant to be kind of just swept up and out the door again. But it's almost a week later, and I have another story that I want to tell you that links with it. Something that's really kind of brought me to life again. The reason I tell you is because I think that any spiritual exploration is meant to help you to embody who you are on this physical plane even more. It's meant to help you to bridge the gap between any mental, emotional, or physical or energetic ailments that you may have. And I think a lot of people are afraid to delve into the spiritual because they don't want to be seen as wacky, or get caught up in conspiracy, or get caught up in something that they don't, that's more of just the ego or the mind. But what I'm saying is that I've had an experience of doing that, and it felt like it wasn't just a death of my ego, it felt like it was a death of my being to kind of disregard anything spiritual whatsoever. And there's just a balance to be had, I think, in my opinion. So that was the main download that I got from all of that. And interestingly enough, I started working on the next day. I started working on what I'm going to call synchronicity spa sessions, because I have the table and I have this cabin, and I'm being called very much to do more things in person. And I had this wonderful synchronicity arise, which I was thinking about all day after I'd had this experience with my guide, which was that I need to focus more on doing things in person with people, because I'm really missing out on that one-on-one contact, and I'm really missing out on, you know, connecting with people in person. And it was a really cool synchronicity, because we actually put up, hello baby Robin, that we were hosting an event at our place, but we didn't see anyone that was coming to it, so I just went about my day like usual, didn't really think twice about it. And then I was just getting some things set up here in the cabin, because I still have some work to do in here, and I noticed that there was someone that had come to the estate, and I was shocked, and she told me that she was here because of the meditation that I'd set up. So that was what we advertised, is that we were doing meditation, because as I said, I had the instinct to want to do more things in person. And there this person was, like a few days after this experience, just coming straight to my house, and I was shocked, and I said, oh, I didn't think anyone was coming, and so she was going to leave. But anyway, she stayed, because I said, no, I think this is perfect. You're going to be the only one here, but we can do something one-on-one. And so we did. We had a meditation one-on-one. Many of you know I've been doing meditations for a while now, just over Zoom, and it's definitely given me a lot of confidence to do that more in person. If I hadn't have had those experiences virtually, I think I'd probably be a little bit less experienced in doing this in person. So anyway, we did that in person together, and the rest just really flowed and was truly a divine synchronicity. And hopefully we're gonna meet again soon. And there you go, that's my little story, you know, like if you really are looking to change something in your life, I really would recommend, you know, if you're watching this video still, it's a potential that you can have some of this guidance through that, you know, more etheric space, more of the imaginative space, because there really is traction there, there really is energy there, that enough for me to even want to come on here and tell you about this. Like, you know, why I have 100 other things that I could film or talk to you about, but clearly this needs to go out, because people need to hear. Like, some of us are able to do this manifestation stuff just by lying down on a bed and just calling in the light, you know, and just allowing whatever wants to unfold from there. And as I say, I went through a difficult period this last month of trying to let go of everything spiritual, and it's even my outside world was reflecting that, because like the yoga place shut down, and the crystal shop is like, well, it shut down a couple of years ago, but there was another crystal shop that you know, everything is just really slowed down, I guess because of the situation, but especially for things that are spiritual, but I think maybe it's so that we can get more joy from it in a way that is practical. And as I say, this is a representation of something practical, because I was in a place at the beginning of this story, at the beginning of my experience, where I just, you know, I guess you could say I wouldn't go as far as to say I was, you know, not wanting to live or anything like that, because I've been through that for the best part of my life. I've not wanted to be here, because I can't really tell you why. It just comes and it goes. And anyway, now when it comes, it's so much easier to deal with. in some ways. In other ways, it's very intense, and I find that acceptance of what is really helps. So not trying to get rid of the feelings, you know, I just allowed myself to picture my guide helping me through this moment by having them do energy work. All she did was kind of go like this, so for my being, and that was enough for me to click into, say, a higher vibration maybe. And so that's what I did, and that's what occurred. And you know, it's wild, absolutely wild. I love it. You know, I look forward to more of us being able to ground this kind of experience in, because the spiritual and the physical worlds are meant to meet together, you know, in the heart, and they're important. And so I'm gonna probably go now. So thank you. I'll see you next time.